Hi, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness. I'm tired. Kayce, take over.
Brandon's been at Camp Barstool all week. I know that that was probably lovely for a man that's almost 50 years old to be
That's
at
not
Camp Barstool.
45 is not almost 50.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I thought you were
If
46.
you're listen, if you're 15, you're not almost 20. If you're 5, you're not almost 10.
Okay, I thought you were 46, so I was rounding up, but I was more making a joke about how you probably didn't want to be doing camp things all weekend. However, or all week. It's also my days are all mixed up. I'm sure that people at Camp Barstool were probably enjoying some high noons. And you
Yeah,
know
they
what?
were.
It
Among
is
other things.
It is week 0 of college football. This is the last episode before we have real college football games happening. And although it is only week 0, there's only 4 games. Of those high noons are going to be popping. I was in Washington, D.C. this week for a sales conference with like a podcast thing. A lot of people talking about unnecessary roughness. Of course, we were having the high noons. Just everybody's celebrating because college football is finally here.
Literally just this week, earlier in the week, I was down in Charleston shooting some high noon content. Just fantastic. I mean, Charleston's beautiful. High noons, they were cold, tequilas, vodkas, all of them. I was doing some watermelons. A lot of watermelon high noons this week.
That's one of the
Fantastic.
OGs. Yeah, one of the OGs. I'm still on the teas, the peach teas, but in no less than what is it now? About 10 days, week 0 or week 1 will be happening. And then we'll start to travel for the college football show. We know people will be having high noon. So it's here, folks. Highnoonspirits.com. Find a pack near you. You know the drill. Vodka, tequila, the teas, the OGs. Go find them. Highnoonspirits.com. Brandon Walker, I
Yeah.
know you're tired. I know you're exhausted. We all are. We all are. But how excited are you? Even though it is only week 0, you're going to wake up on Saturday morning and Central Time, 11 o'clock a.m., you are going to have number 10 Florida State kicking off against Georgia Tech in Ireland.
There's a movie quote from 8 Men Out, and I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not going to get it right. And they're talking about giving the players enough money so they'll still throw the series. And the guy's like, "What do you do to get a horse to keep working for you? You give him just enough water to let him know he's thirsty." And Saturday morning, college football, they're not going to feed us. They're not going to sit us down, and they're not going to give us a full buffet, but they're going to give us a delicious little treat and say, "Hey, if you act right, if you're good, you come back in 5 days, and you can have 5 straight days of this right here." And that's Florida State, Georgia Tech. I am excited about it. And listen, I know that Liam's already got. I can already see the steam coming off his ears. We also have Montana State playing this weekend and Delaware State playing this weekend. We have
SMU.
SMU, Nevada playing this weekend. Yeah, and I don't mean to step on you, Liam, but certainly the main course in week 0 is Florida State and Florida State and Georgia Tech. Now I'll say another thank you to God and Sonny Jesus. God, thank you for not making me watch Notre Dame another week 0. I was tired
Hallelujah.
of getting to week 0 and either I got to watch Nebraska fuck up and down the field or I got to watch Notre Dame hump the football up and down the field. Now at least I get to see Florida State and Georgia Tech, 2 new teams to this. I don't know, Big Ev. I'm excited about Florida State, Georgia Tech. I'm excited about starting with a conference game. It's almost like I'm paralyzed by how much joy I have, and I want to dive into this whole game.
It's what you described. We call that. I grew up a little slap and tickle. They give a little and just tickle you right under the chin, right under the ball. Just a little. Hey, I'm there, but not giving you. Not a full
Slop and tickle?
Slap and tickle.
slap.
Oh, I
Little
thought he
slap
said
and tickle.
slop, and I was
Little
like,
slap and
Well,
tickle.
when you're my size and F size, it kind of is sloppy.
it is slop and
Yeah,
tickle.
that too. It works. I mean, either or works in theory. But no, I mean, you described it perfect. And you also reminded me of that truly dreadful Nebraska Northwestern game a few years ago. That was
God.
one of the worst football games I've ever watched. But no, this should be a lot better. I have picks for this game. I like this game. I'm very excited to watch this game, not just because it's the only like big time game we get. I have picks I genuinely like.
So last year, 2 years ago, um, Adrian Martinez. Let me make sure I get the name right. Adrian Martinez won the Heisman during the first drive for Nebraska. They went up and down. They went right down the field, scored 7-0. They're winning 10 games. He wins the Heisman. Last year, I'm pretty sure it was Audric Estime, the running back. who won the Heisman in the first quarter of the game. Eventually, he lost it because they had to play 11 and a half other games. I wonder who would be the Heisman Trophy winner like 15 minutes into the game Saturday. It's either going to be Haynes King or one of the Florida State running backs, maybe.
No, I mean, would you be surprised if it was DJ? Like, oh my God, like he didn't work out at Clemson and then he went
Yeah.
and did his time at Oregon State and now he's found his place.
I think Florida State's attack is so heavily based on just a tremendously talented running back room, and Georgia Tech is their weakness is going to be the defensive front. I think. So I think it's going to be one of the running backs for sure. It was Adrian Martinez. I think Kayce Thompson at one
Kayce
point might have
Thompson.
won a first quarter Heisman.
Kayce Thompson, the best decision he ever made for about 15 to 20 minutes was leaving Texas to go play because it was like, oh, thank God he found his system.
Yeah, there's about a 20-minute period in week 0 where we pretend this is the only game that's ever going to happen all season.
Brandon, last year I tweeted something similar. I didn't say it wasn't the Heisman. I said, like, I can't wait to see Notre Dame fans talk about how they're going to win the national championship by halftime of week 0, something along those lines. And I got like fucking reamed. Like, we're never going to say that. And no fail, halftime of that game, everyone was like, we're the best team ever. And here's the thing. And I know Liam is not one of us. So Liam, you are left out of this conversation. But Brandon, Ev, and I are going to be hearing from Florida State fans on Saturday at probably, assuming that they win, assuming that they're beating Georgia Tech, because I don't know about you guys, the amount of Florida State fans that clowned me, and I'm assuming clowned you guys for not having them high up in the ACC or in the college football playoff to go far was astronomical for me. Florida State fans were not happy.
Yeah, well, here's the difference in me and all of you three. I truly don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't give a fuck either, but I'm saying.
I don't. No, Kayce. What you don't understand. Hold on. Come in.
One of his children.
Thought somebody knocked on the door. Okay. Here's the thing about Florida State. Liam, I'm going to talk directly to you here because you do have Florida State as your ACC champ. Ev has Miami. Kayce and I have Clemson and Clemson. Actually, I have Clemson. Kayce got on the bandwagon.
No.
So, Liam, my question to you is this. No. This isn't a question. This is a theory I have. Okay? When you got the engine wide open and you're going down the road and you're at full speed and you're going fast, the best thing to do is keep going fast and don't let up. When Florida State got left out of the playoff and they got screwed, I think they should have gotten screwed, but they did get screwed. They got screwed by getting left out of the playoff. The quarterback got hurt. They got left out. And instead of keeping the engine going and trying to figure out how to get through it, they pulled off the side of the road and just let Georgia beat the shit out of them. They quit. They quit. They laid down and they quit. They mentally just gave up. How do you then, in 6 months later, 8 months later, whatever it is, you got to get back on the road. You're starting, and they can't be excited to be starting in Dublin, Ireland. You're not starting in front of your home fans. You're going to be starting in front of a bunch of Irish people that are going to be bored by the 5-minute mark. I don't know how you get this car back on the road after you put it in neutral yourself and went out like bitches last year. Is there not a mental hangover possible here, Liam Blutman?
I mean, I think there certainly is a possibility of it, but I think the good thing about everything in today's era is, do bowl games really matter anymore? Do they truly matter as much as they did as they used to? No, not at all. So are they put forth zero effort in that game. I couldn't care less about. I'm focused on this year. We've used.
You're making the point for me. You're making the point for me, Liam.
You're making his point.
They willingly gave zero effort. They quit. They said, no, we're not going to try. We can't win. We're not going to try. Now, 6 months later, 8 months later, whatever it is, I keep saying 6, it's 8. 8 months later, come on, boys, let's go out there and get them. Like,
Liam,
I just think there's a mental thing.
Hear me out. And like, I know you're saying you don't care, but wouldn't it have been so much better for Florida State fans? And I think that they shouldn't have been left out, even though they looked like shit against Georgia. If they would have gone out and beaten Georgia, then the actual conversation of if they should have been left out or not, they see, we went out and we beat Georgia. Like, we should have been. Instead, they looked like absolute dog shit. And everyone was like, see, they shouldn't have been in the college football playoff. There's no way they would have competed. It's like they laid down and took it.
I mean, yeah, I suppose, but the talking points would still just be about DJU at quarterback and why he's not the guy and why they're going backwards in that aspect anyway. I don't know. I just don't really care about that, so I don't really have I don't know what to say.
That's why you're the best in the business. What's up, Big F?
Thank
Well,
you.
I feel a little because I'm in between it where I'm down on Florida State, but I really don't care about that bowl game for this game
Yeah.
for Florida State. I genuinely don't think it really
I don't think it
matters.
means anything.
Half
I
the
don't
all the
know
best
here
players
what I'm
opted
saying.
out. Once all the best players opt out, to me, it almost just becomes like it's a glorified scrimmage at that point. Once
Makes sense.
all your best players opt out, to me, I don't think it has much, if any, impact
I
on
don't
this
think there's
season.
any substance to it.
Blutman, Florida State recruits at a much higher level than Georgia Tech. They've got better players than Georgia Tech. Give me a reason Georgia Tech can keep this close.
I don't think Georgia Tech keeps it close. I don't think Georgia Tech keeps it close. I wrote down Florida State winning 38-16. I think Florida State's going to go out there. They've been the subject of a bunch of disrespect this offseason. I wouldn't say this is a statement game, but I think that they're going to show a lot of people, their defense going to show a lot of people how good that this team could be. So I don't what do you want me to say? You and I don't see eye to eye here. I can't speak on your behalf. You can't speak on my behalf.
Liam, love you like a brother. We're discussing the football game.
Yes.
We're laying out both sides. What world would be able to lead Georgia Tech to keeping this close?
Florida State gets sick from a bunch of potatoes. I don't know.
Brandon, here I'll give you a hypothetical here, okay? Just to play it along with your game, not potatoes. Haynes King, who I personally don't, think is a phenomenal quarterback. He didn't work out at A&M, but Haynes King did play very well last year. They were able to beat two or three ranked teams last year. They won a bowl game. They've got some momentum, and they don't have near as much turnover as Florida State does. Now, Florida State is a much more talented roster, like you said, Mike Norvell, a much better coach. However, Georgia Tech is coming in having come off of a season of success with most of their roster intact.
All right, let me tee you up here, Blutman. You say the main reason is the Florida State defense. They lost Jared Verse, all right? They lost Fisk. They lost some things on the defensive line there. I know they still got Peyton. They still got some talented players. What's the strength of this defense?
The strength of the defense, I think, is going to be the front seven again. Patrick Payne's going to be an absolute mess. He's not going to break out because I think he did last year, but he's going to be a more powerful threat that people are more aware of consistently. Marvin Jones, Byron Turner, Daryl Jackson in the trenches, they still got a bunch of dudes, and what's going to happen is they're going to generate a bunch of pressure against an inferior Georgia Tech trench, and it's going to get ugly.
There you go. Now, Big Ev, I know Blutman's opinion. You think Georgia Tech has a world where they keep it close?
I don't. I think Florida State wins, but I think they cover. I do like the over because I think Georgia Tech's going to score some points, but I think Georgia Tech's in general this season is going to be an over team. Like you said, their defense is bad. I think Florida State's going to run the ball quite a bit. They're not a lot of success doing it, but I do think Georgia Tech at least gets a couple scores in there. But I think Florida State wins this game. I'll say 38, 21 type game. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you two pretty much have almost the exact same score.
Is that what you said, Blutman?
38-16.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think they score a little bit more.
Kayce, do you think there's any chance Georgia Tech keeps it close?
I think they keep it close for a little bit, yes, but at the end of the day, no, I don't. I think.
Well, no, you don't.
No, I don't. I think Florida State's going to pull away. Also, by the way, we're talking about week 0 and how it's just a little teaser and appetizer type of the snacks that you get before the happy hour. All 4 games are double digit spreads. This is we're going to get to watch live football, but I'm not expecting at any point on Saturday. And I understand you've got SMU Nevada, you've got Hawaii, the crack of dawn on Sunday. Those are all great if you're going to be gambling on them. In reality, we're not going to see good football at all. I don't anticipate any type of drama. I don't anticipate any type of I think the first half of the game in Dublin will be exciting, and then I'm going to be okay, I'm ready for week 1.
Well, that's where you're all wrong. Listen, when Florida State and Georgia Tech get together in week 0, historically, you can throw out the record books when those two teams meet in Dublin, Ireland. You can absolutely – there has never been a blowout in this spot in this series. There has never once where Florida State has walked into the season killing Georgia Tech in Dublin, and I don't see why it's going to start now. I know Blutman just named off some names. That's great. But Fisk is gone. Jared Verse is gone. There is a significant. There's people gone in the secondary. The running back situation is not as good. The receiver situation for Florida State's not as good. They have better talent than Georgia Tech, but they don't have near the talent they had last year. I think there's an adjustment period for Florida State. 10.5 is a little bit too much. I think we see a 1 touchdown game in Dublin this weekend.
I love that. I hope you're right. I want drama.
Good.
Brendan, I think you also didn't mention that their quarterback significantly downgraded, in my opinion.
Significantly downgraded. Florida State downgraded almost across the board. And we're just assuming that they're going to destroy a team who, I know Georgia Tech hadn't been good in a while, but this guy's been solidly building or quietly building a roster. He's in year, 2? He's quietly trying to build something there. Haynes King isn't as dreadful as what they had 3 years ago when Jeff Sims was there for 19 years. Like I feel like they got something here that I think they can keep it close, is all I'm telling you. If they were playing this game in Tallahassee, no, it's not close. They're playing it in a neutral site of 3,000 miles from home, however many thousand miles from home. There's going to be like 2,000 Florida State fans there. I just think this is a perfect storm of Georgia Tech staying close.
And like I said, like they are building off of momentum. I just don't anticipate drama as a double-digit favorite in week 0. But you're right, they did. And if people are listening and didn't listen to the ACC preview, and I know Liam had his moment at the end, but we said that like Florida State fans who are mad that they're not being put back in the same position. Like it's not just losing Jordan Travis. They've lost an entire roster worth of people. And that's not to say in the middle of the season, they're going to be fine, but that's hard to rebuild from, especially coming off of that. I just don't see Georgia Tech in Dublin hanging around with a much less talented roster. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, to be honest, because I'd like some drama.
I do think Brandon forgot that a majority of the population in Dublin will be doing the chop.
They won't even know what it is, Blutman.
They'll be doing the chop.
They'll do it for 5 minutes, and
they're not going to be singing about how they're a heck of an engineer.
You think that Florida State has a home field advantage here?
I was making a little joke.
I can't tell with you, man.
I felt like an obvious joke.
Fuck. Lighten up.
Me?
Yeah, lighten up, man. He's just making
What do you mean lighten up? Y'all knew it was a joke?
A couple pals having some ha-has?
That felt obvious, yeah.
I didn't know it was a joke, if it makes you feel any better, but I think we might just be old.
Me and Blutman we're on the same wavelength right now. Also, let's call it what it is too. Unless there's something I don't know where there's like a lot of tickets for Irish people, it's going to be also people from the Southeast there. Let's call it what it is.
How many's going to go? How many's going to go?
I'll tell you what, if I was in college still and my school ever played in Dublin, Ireland before college started, before the semester started, my ass would be over there drinking no free ad, drinking a ton of Guinness.
You ever been to Tallahassee, Florida? Them motherfuckers ain't got passports.
I have been in Tallahassee. And
foreign travel for them is going across town to the Mexican restaurant.
They got great sushi in Tallahassee.
Almost certainly they do not. Almost certainly they don't have good sushi in Tallahassee.
I was there. I don't remember the restaurant, but it was pretty good, I think.
I'd love to go to Tallahassee.
Tallahassee was fun. I went there for the Florida State-Florida game when Will Muschamp was fired. It was quite a scene.
All right. Now, Blutman, I'll let you lead off. Set the table for SMU Nevada for me.
SMU is going to be playing both Preston Stone and Kevin Jennings, which is kind of interesting, but it also doesn't matter because they're going to score what was the score I wrote down? I mean, they're going to blow. They're going to blow them out. What do you want me? Preston Stone, RJ Maryland, for 2 touchdowns probably. SMU by a whole lot. Nevada stinks. They really have nothing on their team. Isaiah World. What?
We're just painting a picture where there's no reason to watch football this weekend.
No, Brandon, no. You bet the over,
There's
Brandon.
great players to watch. They're not great
Brandon,
games.
bet the over.
Great players.
This is also a prime example of why, and I know that our podcast gets way more audio downloads than YouTube views. Like we're one of those podcasts. Watching Brandon's face while Liam is talking this episode is a reason to watch on YouTube. He is just not having it today.
How's one supposed to hype up SMU Nevada? Nevada got
first game of the year.
by Idaho on their own turf last year. There's nothing to be said here. That's a team that got worse.
Okay.
Doing the show.
So here's my question then, Liam.
About the good players and stuff that we've got, but you got to be honest, and I'm being honest.
Liam.
Actually, I wanted to get into the quarterback thing a little bit because that kind of surprised me that was because Jennings was good last year in the conference championship game, in the game I believe before that he played, but Stone was a stud before that. I'm pretty surprised that Jennings must look he must have looked phenomenal in the offseason and summer because Stone was incredible last year. I'm pretty surprised that it's even that they're going to split reps.
I
And
don't know if
Leslie's
it's a competition, but I think it's more so just to get make sure that Stone's fully there and healthy and confident and everything, and that if he does get hurt again, that Jennings is just there and ready to go. They're gonna blow this team out. So getting them both their reps and saying you're gonna do it before the game, I don't think really is much. But if it happens week 2, then I start to worry, I guess. Yeah.
Kayce, we got any business to tend to?
We do. You know what? This is one of your favorite businesses to attend to. Cars.com, baby. We know that you're in the process of finding your precious daughter a car. Have you gotten anywhere with that, Brandon?
We might be in the situation where she gets daddy's car and daddy gets himself a new car. So
Oh,
everybody just hold on. Let's relax.
So,
which opens up a world of possibilities.
I'm also just not, I was going to repeat what you said, and the idea of calling you daddy made me want to die. So I'm going to let you talk about cars.com so I can refocus right now.
Well, Cars.com has up to 2 million cars at any given time, 50,000 cars uploaded daily. They have the Your Garage feature now, which I don't even know if it's on our ad copy for the show. It's on my other ad copy for another show. The Your Garage feature helps you really know exactly what you have in your car and gives you right to the minute estimates of how much your car is worth. So when it comes time to go shopping for a new car, you know what you're dealing with and you know what you're working with. So it's a great feature, Your Garage on Cars.com.
And as we've said every single time we talk about cars.com, you don't have to go to lot. You don't have to go walk around with a sleazy car salesman that might be trying to lie to you. You can just do it all from the comfort of your couch, wherever you are at your office, and you can go select every single thing you could possibly want. And if you're thinking about selling your car in the next couple of months, then you can go track your value. And that's huge for a lot of people. Because for example, I don't have a car right now because I live in New York City. But when I did have a car, I had no idea how much it was worth. And if I wanted to go trade it in, I was going to be at the mercy of somebody who may lie to me, but not cars.com. So track your car's value at cars.com and go shopping. And maybe Brandon's getting himself a new car. We'll be talking about that next time we read this ad. Who knows?
All right, Big F, give me the biggest reason in the world to get excited for week 0.
Football's back. What do you mean? Football. I'll give you a real one. I'll say, listen, it's laying 40 with Hawaii at midnight. That's what it is, Brandon. Okay. That's what it is. And you want to know why? Yeah. You want to know why, Brandon? Because Delaware State might be the worst FCS team there is. They're going to come to Hawaii. Obviously, I'd imagine, never been, want to go. Imagine it's lovely, fantastic, great energy, vibes, good weather. And they're going to come there, which they've had travel problems, by the way. Let's keep that in mind as well. And they're going to take a shellacking. They're going to take a beating. They might lose this game. You want to score prediction, Brandon? I'm going to say 70-6. This is a beat down of epic proportions.
This is also the Big Ev special. This man loves betting on Hawaii, and 1:30 in the morning Eastern time, Ev is sweating out some sort of Hawaii bet.
I'm going to be begging for Hawaii to score that touchdown and make it 56, just to 10 to get over that number when they're up 39.
There was a report they did have travel troubles, right? So they missed their 10.5-hour flight on Tuesday. And when I saw that, I'm like, all right. So they missed their flight Tuesday. As long as they get out Wednesday, they're fine, right? That seems like plenty of time, Wednesday to Saturday, to be adjusted to Hawaii, correct?
It's a big time difference.
They say an hour. They say it takes per hour change. It takes a day to get adjusted. I don't think they have enough time, Brandon.
I'm not going to have enough time anyway, right?
I'm not a math guy, but if that checks out, that's not enough time.
Also,
if that's the case, then nobody should ever win in Hawaii.
They don't.
Well, they're usually not.
They do. People win in Hawaii all the time.
They do sometimes. They're usually not this inferior.
I will say though, I feel like these are college athletes that are 19 years old. Jet lag probably doesn't hit them the way that it would hit people that need extra days.
Also, Hawaii, I believe in the last 14 home openers, 12-2 against the spread.
Yes. Yes, 12 and
The
2.
only one I think Vanderbilt got. I know Vanderbilt got him on the island a couple years ago when there was like a 5-minute period with Vanderbilt. Okay,
Mike
Sure.
Wright, wasn't it Mike Wright? That's the name, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's transferred twice since then.
He was at
Yep.
Mississippi State.
Yeah, he was. Now he's at Northwestern.
Yeah, yep.
We also have
yeah.
Montana State, New Mexico.
That's Touchdown Tommy. I know all about Touchdown Tommy.
Tommy
Touchdown Tommy Dollard.
Tommy Moffitt, right? Moffitt? Tommy Moffitt.
Mullet. Model. What's his name?
Touchdown Tommy Malott.
Malott, yes. Tell us all about Touchdown Tommy Malott.
Well, Touchdown Tommy Malott. What a guy, huh? Season opening first string quarterback again for him, third straight season. But he's throwing to a fella named Taco Dowler. How can you not get excited for Taco Dowler? How about these guys have an experienced, gritty, strong offensive line full of maulers, Brandon. At running back, they don't got their guy Julius Davis. He's out with injury. That's okay. They've got Scottry, however the heck you say his guy's name. Scottre Humphrey. Very funny spelled name. He ran for 8 a carry last year. And I watched some clips of him last night. He runs like he's just seen the villain in a scary movie and needs to just get out of there. This fella runs hard, and I'm very excited to watch him and a very good Montana State offense line against a New Mexico run defense that is absolutely dreadful.
Now we got to work on that metaphor a little bit because sometimes early in the movie when somebody sees the movie villain, when they turn and run, they run like they're in quicksand. They're slow, and the villain always catches them. But towards the middle and the end, that's when they can get away. So I assume you're saying this is towards the end of the movie.
Sure, yeah.
This isn't like the girl that always looks like me, the dumb blonde girl goes out and gets killed early. You're saying it's somebody that's going to fight for their lives.
Yeah, somebody's going to survive.
Yeah, I don't know. I envision people running away like Scooby-Doo.
With the noise, and maybe their legs spin before they take off.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, what else we got? There's some news that broke after we recorded last week. RG3 got fired in between last time we did a show, right? No, we talked about it last time. Did we talk about it last time?
No, we didn't. No, we did not. RG3 and
I really thought he was a rising star in the college football industry.
I did too.
And he ate a croissant.
Yeah, he did. He ate a croissant.
Big one. Big old croissant.
Big croissant.
I don't think that's what got him fired, folks. I think you can eat a big croissant without getting fired.
Obviously, that's not why, but the timing was kind of funny.
We need to stage the croissant photo, don't we?
Yeah,
croissant.
Me and Big F. First week one of college football. We're the first time we're together. Let's do the big croissant.
I'll croissant with you, Brandon. You want a croissant with me?
Yeah, I'll croissant with you.
Who do you think's a better croissant guy?
Don't tempt me with a good time, Kayce. I think both of us can go down on a croissant.
You slap some butter in that thing. Yeah, I'll dive head first in it.
We'll meet in the middle quickly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lady in the Tramp style.
Yeah.
Lady in the Tramp, that bitch.
We're gonna be playing a game of chicken with that croissant.
Brandon, you know what? Back in our thirst trap recreation days, that you and I doing a croissant would have been quite a hit.
Yeah, it would have done very well. Let's see what else.
Some other news that I don't think that anybody's going to really care that much about because I think we knew it was coming. Dylan Raiola was named starting quarterback at Nebraska.
I disagree with your first take there. I care tremendously about it because I like this. I like Nebraska not dicking around. I like them not pussyfooting, not lying, not pretending he's not the guy, not saying, oh, he needs some seasoning. Oh, we don't want to stunt his development. No, they said, fuck it. We went out and got this guy with our NIL money, and he is our guy, period. If he sucks, he sucks. If he's great, he's great. But this is our guy. Too many coaches and too many programs get a 5-star and just let him rot on the bench and let him waste and let him not mature, let him not do anything on the field. If you go invest in a guy, fucking play his ass and roll the dice and go. And that's what Nebraska's doing. I love the fact that Matt Rule's doing this.
No, I love it. I guess the reason I say I don't think people care is because and maybe I'm just ignorant. I didn't never think that this was not going to happen. Like there to me was no world Matt Rule did not start Dylan Raiola this year. Because it's not like they have somebody that's like some superstar quarterback that's like aging out. It's like they don't have anybody that you could make that argument. Like, why not start the guy? So maybe that's the reason I feel like it was a little anticlimactic. Like, it's awesome, but like, no shit, they're going to play Dylan Raiola. Am I wrong?
No, I agree with both of you. I was going to disagree with both of you because I agree. It's where if he's a real game changer, like Brennan said, you spent all the money, got this guy. He's this legacy. You're looking to build something that you're thinking that Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola are going to be the guys that change the trajectory of this program. You just put him in, and going up what he said too, or one of you said it. Hoberger, whoever was the quarterback last year, he was fucking awful. The other quarterbacks they have stink. Like, why not put the kid out there, see what he's got? And plus, I mean, listen, spring game, you can take it for what it is. He looked awesome in the spring game. Some of the ball placement, some of the throws were incredible. I mean, just play the kid. I agree, but I agree. That's why I agree with you, Kayce. I just kind of assumed he would be the starter. Like, it was not huge news to me.
Right.
I hope we're in an era where quarterbacks, especially big-time recruited quarterbacks, will finally realize that playing is the most important thing. Do not Brock Vandagriff yourself. Do not be a 5-star and go sign in Georgia because you think it's cool to be the Georgia quarterback, because you might be sitting on your ass 4 years from now, never having got a chance. Dylan Raiola said, fuck it, I'm going to go change the game at this program. I'm going to start from day one. I think if more quarterbacks did that, instead of going and rotting at Alabama like Ty Simpson is, instead of going and rotting at different places like these quarterbacks do, like, Big F, I'm not trying to take shots at your program, but what in the fuck are 2 5-star quarterbacks doing going to the Ohio State in the same year? Aaron Nolan and Julian Zayan, like, what? They're one or both is just going to transfer anyway. So what's the point? Go somewhere and fucking, instead of going to Ohio State and rotting, instead of going to Georgia and rotting, go to Virginia. I'm saying Virginia Tech right now. I know they got a quarterback, but I'm using them for example. Go to Virginia Tech. Go to Iowa State. Go to Kansas State. Go somewhere that you can play and make good on your potential instead of rotting like a Brock Vandagriff of the world.
Well, and there's also the element too, like, and I know we've talked about this, like, if you've always been told you're the best and you're a 5-star quarterback, you're going to believe that you can go in and you can change the program no matter where you are. But to me, it's like exactly what Ev, you just said about Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule. It's like Dylan Raiola was originally going to go to Georgia. Then obviously all that drama happened. But if he's as good as he thought he is, and he's going to start wherever, why not go change a program? If he changes Nebraska, if he and Matt Rule change Nebraska and get them back to the glory days that they were in the 90s or even close, like, then you're a legend forever. Like, then there's like, if you really believe you are that good to go start at Georgia, and you might have to sit on the bench a little bit, Georgia, go do it anywhere, because I'd rather be a legend changing the program back around. But I didn't think that there was even an option he wouldn't be starting.
Also, well, if you see yourself as like a true NFL guy, which I imagine he does, starting experience really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's a huge proponent going even deeper past the just don't rot on the bench. Like, you go to a place like that, you're getting reps, you're getting starts, you're getting all that. Like, that is huge for just not only development, but just the way I think the NFL sees you when that time comes. And he's definitely a guy that you envision being in that spot in a few years.
Kayce, to your point, I think everybody knew eventually he would be the starter this year. I did think, and I do think, some programs will hesitate to start a guy in week one, will hesitate to start him right out of the gate, will even use a worse junior or senior because they're not going to shit down their leg and they're going to be able to ease into the season, and they'll try to ease a transition. Nebraska said, fuck that. We don't need a transition. He's our guy from day one, and I commend that.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I mean, I'm high on Nebraska this year. I think they're going to be good. It's just one of the, when the news came about, I guess, again, maybe that makes me ignorant. I was like, yeah, no shit. Okay. Like, that's great. Another piece of news, Brandon, Kirk Ferentz self-imposed suspension for the game against Illinois State.
I think Michigan has set the tone in college football. Not having your head coach for a week doesn't matter a fucking bit. Not having your head coach on the sidelines during a game doesn't matter at all. The coordinators run the show as far as game day goes. At most places, not all, but at most places, you can absolutely survive your head coach not being there, especially against Whistle Dick State or whoever you just said.
Illinois
Top
State,
20
yeah.
FCS team.
Do you think it's going to be a problem for Iowa?
No.
Yeah.
But like the funny thing to me is, like, I'm reading about it, and like, so it's like, I think it's Budmeyer is how you say it, John Budmeyer. Like, they got like a violation level 2 or level 2 violation, whatever. It's self-imposed because they didn't say it was Cade McNamara, but they're assuming it was Cade McNamara, that they contacted him or his family before the transfer portal opened, and like, This to me, and again, maybe I'm just like, who cares? Like, I understand there are rules and I get that, but I just feel like this is like tampering is going to be happening everywhere. And now schools,
It's not is going to be happening
it
everywhere.
is happening.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's happening right now.
so like, I understand they're trying to like get out ahead of it and that's why it's self-imposed, but it's just like, I mean, is every school going to start self-imposing against, like you said, Whistle Dick State? Like everybody's doing it. So if that's going to be the problem, it's like every single year, the season opener are going to be like, okay, our head coach is gone because he tampered, and they're just going to keep doing that over and over. Like, who cares?
It's so hysterical to me when the NCAA and I'm not saying the NCAA like cracked down on Iowa or did this, but so crazy to me when somebody like Kirk Ferentz at Iowa gets busted for tampering.
Yeah.
When I mean, look around, look around, look at a guy who's not in the transfer portal, enters with a do not talk to tag, and then a day later commits to somewhere. Like when you think that guy just woke up with divine intervention? Look at the guy, the Miami of Ohio coach today, who just came out and said, yeah, our kicker last year, he was good, wasn't he? Alabama illegally took him. They came and took him. You think the NCAA sitting up saying, oh, Alabama stole Miami of Ohio's kicker? Fuck no, they're not. But Iowa has to be without Ferentz for going and getting a really shitty ass quarterback from Michigan.
And then it's like, oh, then all of a sudden he's back against Iowa State the next week. It's like,
by the way, if you're losing a game for illegally recruiting Cade McNamara, if you're going to illegally recruit, get somebody better than Cade fucking McNamara. I mean, that's like getting busted for shoplifting at Dollar General. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
I don't think Cade McNamara is that bad.
What was his stats in the scrimmage a couple weeks ago?
I can pull that up. Give me a
I
second.
mean, I don't think you could use the word good describing him.
No, definitely not. But I don't think he's like going out and like recruiting the worst.
He's pretty damn bad.
I mean, they're seeing anybody's an upgrade. They just have such dog shit quarterbacks.
Well, and now it's like a new offense without Brian Ferentz, which again, like I said when we did our Big Ten preview, like I don't think that getting rid of Brian Ferentz is going to be like some savior type of thing. I guess we'll see. I think it's just like Kirk Ferentz like talked about it today, and he's been there since like it feels like the 70s. Like he's been there for I mean, didn't he start in like 99? Like, has he been there that long?
It's been a minute. That's all
like,
I can tell you.
And it's like to see him like sit there and be like, I did break the rules a little bit. Like I usually don't break the rules. It's like, come on, like we're gonna start getting these guys for like talking to a guy 2 days too early. Like, come on.
The McNamara stats were 7 for 21 for 20 yards, an interception, which was a pick six, a fumbled snap, no touchdowns, obviously, and he took a sack.
You're right.
My favorite part of that stat line. My favorite part of that stat line is they're telling me it's a new offense at Iowa and it's new and this, that, and the other. It's not the 7 for 20. It's the 7. It's the 7 completions for 20 yards.
Yeah, Aaron.
Seven times he threw it and it was caught and it resulted in 20 yards. So they got less than 3 yards every time they completed a pass. That's Iowa offense all day.
Yep.
And that's why I don't understand why Iowa fans thinking getting rid of Brian Ferentz is going to change everything. I guess it's to be determined. To be determined.
I don't know that Iowa fans thought that. Iowa fans wanted Brian Ferentz out, but I think they're to the point where they were like, both Ferentz is kind of like they're.
Oh no! When I said Iowa was going to be a disappointing team, I heard otherwise. I will say that I did not know that his stat line was that bad. You're all right, Brandon. It's like shoplifting from Dollar General, although you can still get cool shit at Dollar General.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also after that practice, Ferentz said that's been the norm. So.
Oh, good.
God. Yeah.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. He was like, yeah, nothing really crazy here. This has been normal. Just another practice.
So I know Liam has some group of 5 stuff for us because I know we teased that and by the way, I still am on the high of doing the college football playoff bracket that we did on the last episode. That was so much fun. So I know we have that, but the last piece of news, and I think it broke today or maybe late last night, but everybody was talking about it today. It's kind of a weird story, but the Colorado special teams coach, Trevor Riley, is now coming out and talking about how Colorado as an administration was seeking NIL money from the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia, who's obviously involved with Live Golf and some other different things. And Brandon, before you logged on, like we were kind of talking about it, my question is Do you think that this story is getting more attention because it's Colorado and because it's Dion and like the football program and all the kind of headlines that, or do you think that no matter who came out and said, hey, we're seeking Saudi Arabia money in college football, it would be a big deal? Because it's technically, like, there's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm gonna go third way. I'm gonna go third way.
Okay.
I'm thinking that all of this bluster and going and talking to Saudi and everything is just going to be irrelevant in maybe a year or two when the NCAA finally nuts up and says, "Hey, you guys got to pay. You're going to pay out of your own revenue, and everybody's going to have a certain salary they give out." I think we're heading towards where the schools are paying these guys directly instead of letting the fans go to Saudi Arabia and get creative and do all these funds and everything. And the sooner the better for that. Maybe I'm just being a curmudgeon, but I don't think there should be a world where somebody has to get on a jet, go to Saudi Arabia, and ask for money for players when the schools are overflowing with cash because of TV money. That's what I say.
The QR codes on the helmets, that's what Oklahoma State, like all this stuff is just crazy. Like, and again, it's all legal. Like, that's what this, like, Trevor Riley came out. It's like, nothing I'm doing is illegal. But then there are people giving all their opinions on we shouldn't be going overseas to get the Prince of Saudi Arabia's money for college football. And it's like, well, there's no rules at this point.
If it's allowed to go get money, then why not go to the richest people in the world?
Right.
That's pretty smart. I mean, I know people bust on Colorado, and with good reason. I don't think they'll be very good. But yeah. If you need money, go to the people who have the money. That's what I would do.
That's why I was wondering if
when I need a favorite Barstool, I go to Kayce Smith. She's got all the money.
Oh yeah, okay. Now you've got all the money. You're the rich one now. You live on a lake.
I still have.
And you have 2 Christmas trees when it comes time.
I might have acquired a third.
Oh,
you have 3 Christmas trees?
That just seems a little.
Liam, let me tell you something. And I don't know, and Ev, you may know this story. I don't know. I probably told it when Jack and Katie were still on this podcast. I got a video from Brandon Walker one night around Christmas time, and he was showing me his Christmas tree. And then he was like, and hold on, Kayce, look at this rich people shit. And then he got up off of his couch or his chair, wherever he was, and he walked all the way to show me and made sure I knew that I'm a poor person because I only have 1 Christmas tree. So just be prepared.
You can mock it, you can laugh at the last couple of years have been pretty decent to me, and the first time I realized like I'm not in Mississippi anymore is when I had 2 Christmas trees. I thought, and
they're
you made it, buddy.
Yeah, they're not small Christmas trees either. It wasn't like it's like the mini tree for the kids in like the playroom. It's like full blown, decorated, gorgeous Christmas trees. Brandon Walker made it, baby.
What else do we have before we get to Blutman's G5?
Well, we've got Southern small batch recipe pork rinds.
Yes,
Brandon
we do.
Walker. Yes, we do. I do not have a bag with me right now. I have to admit, I eat the spicy dill bag in like 1 sitting, which is okay because they're a lot healthier for you than most snacks. But we know that pork rinds is going to be our friend for the rest of the year. They're on every episode. We love eating time. It is time to stock up on pork rinds. Porkrinds.com. They've got all the flavors, the hot honey. They've got regular salt and pepper. They've got barbecue, our favorite again, the spicy dill. But you think about like when you're laying on the couch or you're at a tailgate and you just want something good with that solid crunch. Pork rinds, Big Ev. And it's time. Week 0, week 1, week 2, who cares? You need your snacks, and pork rinds are the way to go.
I can't wait to get my hands on some.
Have I asked this question during this?
What's better?
Have I asked this question during the ad? Have y'all ever had nachos with pork rinds as the chips?
You've asked us, and we all said no.
Game changer. That's all I can tell you. Game changer.
I mean, first of all, a delicious nacho plate in general, when it's done right, it's an elite snack. And then you add, and I'm also like the person, like I want like every topping on a chip. Like I don't want a bunch of like random chips with nothing. I'm picturing taking like a plate of the spicy dill pork rinds and like making single nachos, really making sure every topping is on it. They're so good. And they have like no carbs in them, which I think is great for snacks like that because they taste like they should be super carbs, and they're not. They're not. They're not.
God bless. God bless pork rinds.
Love them.
God bless us all.
God bless us all. Porkrinds.com. Go get your snacks.
All right, Blutman. On the run sheet that I was given because I was driving back from wherever, the North Woods of Wisconsin, it said Blutman's Group of 5 TED Talk.
That's what I said. Yes, I didn't know what to call it because the ACC and the Big 12, he had his own minutes, right? Like at the end of the podcast, he is informing us while we sit and listen. That feels like a TED Talk to me.
Blutman, the floor is yours.
Okay, first thing I wanted to say was when Ev says Hawaii score and he said 70-6, that was the score I had written down. I didn't get like knuckles or anything back then, but thought that was pretty cool. Then I've been sick this week, so I wrote about 6,000 words on the group of 5 while sick. That was the work I got done this week in addition to the social stuff, so I have a lot of words on the group of 5.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how you got, if you want to like ask about a team or something, but
Well, I gave you what I thought. I thought you should give us maybe 5 group of 5 teams to stand out above the rest this
oh
year.
yes.
And then you could do your AAC champ, your Mountain West champ,
Okay.
and your Sun Belt champ.
Okay, in addition to that, I have 5 true breakout players and 10 coaches to invest in who are not like strictly group 5. But
Brandon, hold on, Iliam, hold on. Brandon, go ahead. Say what you have to say because you're not going to get to say something for a while. You started to talk. Okay. No, his face. Okay.
I'm just saying that seemed like a lot. That seemed like a lot. That's all.
I've been sick. I wrote a lot of stuff.
What does "I've been sick" mean?
He had a lot of time on his hands.
Sick, yeah. I've just
And
been
I
at
will-
home all week. I haven't got to go to the office.
Before the TED Talk, after the Liam Group of 5 TED Talk, which who knows how long that'll be, we have 5 questions to end the off season.
Yeah.
So just know that Liam will be doing this, and then we will have questions at the end.
All right, Blutman, let me walk you through it. Why are you looking up at her?
I wasn't.
You look like you were.
Oh, I don't know.
Careful. Okay. All right. I'll walk you through it. So let's start with your 5 group of 5 teams that stand out above all the others. Give me, are they ranked in 1 through 5 or just you got 5 teams?
I'm going to do one from each conference.
All right, go.
All right, I'm going to start with the American and a team who I think has been kind of slighted during this offseason, Tulane. Yeah, they lost Willie Fritz, but John Summerall's coming in. I think he's done an excellent job at piecing this roster together. We want to talk about a team with a lot of playmakers, Mr. Brandwalker. How about these fellas with Mekhi Hughes and Shoddy Clayton Johnson at running back, and then Yul Keith Brown at receivers gang, joined by Alabama transfer Shaz Preston and USC transfer Mario Williams. There's a lot to be excited about in that wide receiver room. In fact, I'm foaming at the mouth just thinking about watching this receiver room and these running backs play some football. Shaz Preston, I'm going to be monitoring him heavily. I liked him when I learned about him as a recruit. Very good athlete, basketball and track and field background, versatile receiver who could win all over the field. And then Summerall comes in Tulane, gets a 4-star corner to come play at Tulane. Kind of crazy. So Jaden Lewis, he's one of my 5 true breakout players to watch in the group 5. He should play a decent bit. He won the Alabama 4A 100 and 200 meter championships as a junior.
All right. So that's your breakout team in the AAC,
My
correct?
team to watch in the American, yeah.
All right. How about your team to watch in the Sun Belt?
Ooh, in the Sun Belt, going way out of order. Everyone.
Why don't you do your order? Because how would I have known your order?
Don't
ABC.
fuck with his order.
I thought obviously alphabetical, but no, it's fine.
Hold on. Let me think. All right, I got to do all the all right.
No, we'll do Sun Belt.
AAC, Mountain West.
You missed Conference USA.
And all right, so I assume Conference USA is next in your order.
Yeah, but we'll do Sun Belt.
Then why did you sit?
Because I was just making a comment. We were talking.
All right, go.
Okay,
Brandon, it's going to last a lot longer if you keep doing this.
Yes, a lot of people would bring up App State or Texas State here as GJ King tries to take back Texas. South Alabama, oof, yeah, they lost Kane Womack, but Gio Lopez at quarterback, this kid's a lefty. He's poised, he's swaggy, and he could flat out spin it. Guys like Big Ev are going to love watching this guy throw the ball every single week. He completed 41 of his 61 throws in 2023, 475 pass yards, 4 touchdowns. He's 6'2", 220. He just looks the part. Major breakout player, not only in the group of 5, but college football as a whole. He's been talking very highly about a true freshman running back who has one of the best names I think I've ever seen, Fluff Bothwell. What a name, right?
Fluff
You like that?
Bothwell?
Fluff Bothwell at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Love that name. True freshman. He said there's no way that Fluff gets redshirt. 4 games isn't enough for him. He's going to be a great player. He's a dog. That's all I needed to hear. I'm now on the Fluff Bothwell train. 5'10", 219, athletic specimen. He could win the receiving game as well, in addition to terrorizing defenses on the ground. And then they still retain a bunch of studs on defense. Kevius Thomas at defensive tackle, Jaden Voisin at safety, part of the legacy family of the Voisins at South Alabama. Corner Ricky Fletcher, I really like, NFL guy, 6'3", 197. Then Akeel Washington, who plays linebacker, another just athletic freak. He transfers in from Liberty, and Ladarius Webb Jr. at safety. Really nice. I like South Alabama. Really good football team.
Where's Ladarius Webb from? That sounds like a familiar name to me.
Yeah, I
corner in the league, didn't he?
What?
Wasn't that a cornerback for like the Ravens back in the day?
It was, yes.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Might be his son. I didn't even realize it.
Probably Ladarius Webb Jr. is definitely Ladarius Webb's son.
No.
Yep, I know. Yeah, that's just crazy to think about. I didn't even piece that together.
Who would have thought?
Boy, oh boy.
Like
okay, let's go to the
MAC.
Conference USA.
The MAC or the
Conference?
the
order, Kayce.
Okay.
What?
Conference USA. Fine. It's the obvious team here. Fine. Liberty. I was deciding between them and Utah because they're playing in Utah.
Liberty.
Yep. CJ Daniels, you've got to replace him because he went to LSU. They're bringing in Julian Gray from NC State and Elijah Canyon from Purdue. Liberty defensive backs have been talking so highly about Gray, saying he's unguardable. He has game-breaking speed. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. He's been the toughest wide receiver to cover in camp. Jamie Chadwell always gets the most out of his running backs, and he always plays them plenty. We saw that Coastal. We've been seeing that at Liberty. I love Quentin Cooley, and I love Vaughn Blue. Cooley's thick. He's quick, and he possesses dangerously good contact balance. Blue's one of my 5 true breakout players in the Group 5. He had just 19 carries last year and 3 catches. He got hurt. He's explosive. He's twitchy. He's fast. The coaching staff loves him. Can't stop raving about him. So I'm excited to watch him play. And then it's obvious when you're talking about Liberty, Caden Salter is a superstar, man. Chadwell makes things so much easier for his guys and his quarterbacks and his system. This kid's legit, though. He's one of the best watches in the country for good reason. Fancy feet. He dances around defenses like it's nothing. Elite legs, helping to fade defenders in and out of the pocket. He just gives himself so much more time to make a play, make a big throw. He's fearless. He throws cannons on the run. Frozen rope thrower who could fit a ball there. They're in there through the toughest and tightest of windows. A-grade deep ball. He led the FBS with 28.5% of his throws being thrown 20-plus yards down the field in 2023. He threw just 2 interceptions on throws over 20 yards whilst tossing 18 touchdowns on those attempts. Superstar.
Mountain West. Now, here is Big Ev's favorite conference. So, Big Ev, I'll involve you here. What team do you think he's going to throw at you right here?
Ooh, good call.
So Boise's probably the odds-on favorite here, the heavy favorite.
I have a feeling he's going to talk about Colorado State.
You think he's talking about? Okay, all right. Well, I'll take a guess. I think he's going to talk about Wyoming.
The most
Boise
notes.
State?
Okay, so you guess?
Boise State?
No. The most notes I had written down here in the Mountain West were for Boise State and UNLV, possibly tied. I want to talk about San Diego State.
Oh, okay.
All right. Go ahead.
San Diego State, as you guys would think of years past, kind of boring offense to watch, right? A lot of running the ball and explosive plays, sure, but different now with Sean Lewis in there, the Kent State guy, the Colorado guy, that flash fast offense. San Diego State's got a completely different look now. I'm really excited to watch. Sick backfield with King Christian's Power and Marquez Cooper, who was with Sean Lewis at Kent State. 5'6", I believe. If that, he's a joystick kind of running back, really electric. But what I'm most excited for here at San Diego State, We were talking about Raiola earlier, right? True freshman quarterback, just give him the reins. They're doing the same thing at San Diego State. Danny O'Neal came in and just stole the job from other guys who were proven. They all thought like it was a quarterback competition, and this kid came in out of nowhere and stole it. He committed to Sean Lewis when Sean Lewis was at Colorado. He decides to go with them over here. There were other Power 5 schools looking to get him, and he went to San Diego State. He's staying and sticking with Sean Lewis. I love that. This is a kid who had a plan in 8th grade to graduate high school early and get in the college football world as soon as possible. He accomplished that by becoming the first student at Cathedral High School to ever graduate early and go to college. That school was established in 1918. That's kind of crazy. On-field leadership has had people around him gushing over him for years. Passing accuracy is dubbed as his second best trait, just behind the leadership schools. Looking forward to seeing Danny O'Neal, Sean Lewis, and the rest of San Diego State.
And finally, we have, finally, what? The MAC. The MAC.
The MAC.
Mm-hmm.
Maction, baby.
The MAC.
Yeah, the MAC rocks.
Miami of Ohio.
You want me to talk about them because you coached them?
I don't. Who are you prepared to talk about?
I was going to talk about Bowling Green.
Who do you think's winning the MAC?
I think Bowling Green is going to win the MAC. I think they're going to beat Toledo.
Why?
Because the MAC is most like the NFL year to year, where there is so much variation and difference. Where in other conferences, you're kind of seeing the big dogs win year after year after year. In the MAC, it truly doesn't mean anything if you are the favorite to win it. It doesn't mean anything if you won 4 games last year. You flip that around, you win 8, 9 games, you surprise people. So I like Bowling Green this year because I think they've got 2 of the best offensive players in the league. And yeah, there's so many good running backs. This is a very good running back conference. Terrion Store is a beast. He's an absolute terror to tackle. He aims to become the first Bowling Green player to ever rush for over 6 yards per carry in his career. Elite contact balance, good burst, elusive and imaginative runner, 62.9% tackle avoidance rate. That cleared any other running back last year by about 20%. If you try and tackle this guy, you are missing. Then they've got a big 6'4", 230 tight end, Harold Fannin Jr., big-time player. He's rewritten the record books at Bowling Green. He's going to depart as one of the program's all-time greats, much like Terrion Store. He's fluid, and he's brutal to bring down after a catch. He could stretch the field, high points really well. Top-notch blocker. He's always putting in the extra effort, and I love that. Fun NFL prospect to monitor. Super incredible athlete, too. In high school, he played wide receiver. He played safety. He played baseball. Now he's playing tight end.
All right, now, quickly, let's go through. Who wins the American Athletic Conference?
I have South Florida taking down Tulane. I know a lot of people like Memphis. The unfortunate reality here for Memphis is they're playing at South Florida. They're playing at UTSA. They're playing at Tulane. Tough schedule.
It is a tough schedule. I think Big Ev's one of them. I think you and I think a lot of people at this company are way too high on South Florida.
That's okay. I was high on South Florida last year. I'm high on them now. A lot of people want to join the ship. That's a good thing.
I know Ev texted in the group text, like, are we going to talk about how everybody's jumping on the take? And Liam, you were very humble.
You're the same with me, Big Ev. I see too many people jumping on South Florida.
No. Yeah, I haven't said anything. I'm indifferent on them. I know Blutman was there first. That was the point I was making. Blutman clearly planted his flag. I'm the South Florida guy. And now half the companies, everyone's like, I discovered South Florida. I'm like, no, Liam Blutman is the South Florida guy.
Big Ev,
because I saw Nicky Smokes on South Florida. I saw Tate on South Florida. I'm like, these guys don't even. I know Smokes gambles a little bit. I'm like, these guys barely even gamble. They're not even real huge college football guys. And all of a sudden, they're talking about South Florida. I'm like, this is Blutman's team. They're gonna fuck it up for Blutman.
You're exactly right.
I'm scared about them being mushed. I said that on the last pod. Tate has connections to South Florida. He got to the office in March, and he was on them. My brother and I watched them when I wasn't working here. We were watching them all the time last year. We love Byron Brown. I love Alex Golish. I've been keen on Golish for a while. And then Ebo and I in December, one of our first conversations, we talked about Arizona, and then Fish left, and we talked about USF.
Yeah.
But Ev is right, though. You're the one that's been on it, and then all of a sudden everybody's giving their predictions, and we're all talking about who the group of 5 representative in the college football playoff is, and like a lot of Chicago is on your side, which is not bad. That means they think you know what you're talking about. But he is right that everyone's
That's scary.
It's
All
just
right.
when you start seeing guys that aren't deep in the weeds in college football start giving deep in the weeds picks
Yeah.
on your picks, that's not good. That's just not, that's something you want.
That means that pick's no longer deep in the weeds.
Correct.
Yep.
It's a very out of the weeds pick.
Yes.
Big F, not Big F. Blutman, who wins the Mountain West?
The Mountain West winner, we're talking about revenge. UNLV takes down Boise State in the Mountain West title game, gang, redeeming themselves from last year's debacle of a Mountain West title game. Tough schedule for UNLV, but I love that roster. I love the coaching staff.
All right, who wins the MAC? You already said that.
Bowling Green over Toledo.
Conference USA is Liberty, correct?
The Conference USA, I had Liberty beating Jacksonville State.
And the Fun Belt.
The Fun Belt, I have a very fun championship game. I have Texas State taking back Texas as they beat South Alabama.
No App State, huh? You don't like App State?
I tend to zag a bit in the group of 5 when everyone be zigging and taking that favorites to win the conference.
Won't be zigging.
Yeah, so like I did that last year. Brandon was the only human to talk up Mizzou last year. I was the only human to have Boise State UNLV in the conference championship game back before season started.
You be zagging. And you know what, Blutman? If people are zigging and they should be zagging, they should go to DraftKings and they should zag on with you, right? Maybe they decide to all back Blutman on DraftKings. We know, Ev, you're going to be betting on Hawaii in just like 48 hours from now. They haven't even kicked off yet. You're going to be putting money down on them. And if you are listening to this podcast and you have not been on DraftKings yet, boy, do we have a promo for you. And guys, I'm going to be honest, my phone has died, so I cannot get that promo. So if someone else could pull it up, I will keep talking about DraftKings. We are giving, I believe it's, if you put $5, you get $200 on bonus bets. I think
you get $5. You bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets.
Yep.
I don't know what our promo code is here at Unnecessary.
I think it's rough. I think it's rough.
It's rough. I have it. It's rough.
If you sign up with code ROUGH and you get $5, you bet your first $5, you get $200 in bonus bets.
Yes.
You can obviously follow all of our picks at the Barstool betting group on DraftKings. So we'll have all of that stuff out there. It's going to be the biggest season ever for college football and DraftKings.
Yes, and we're also just maybe a little teaser, not going to say too much, but another show that we do talking about college football may have some fun action with the group of people that do that show. So now is the time to get on DraftKings. Of course, gamble responsibly. If you have a problem, 1-800-GAMBLER, the whole thing. But it is time. College football, the NFL is coming. This is the best time of year to start betting responsibly on your favorite teams, Ev. It is absolutely DraftKings season.
Oh, I can't.
All right,
I'm already locked in Florida State -10 on the DraftKings Sportsbook.
So, Blutman, you've got South Florida to win the AAC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've got Bowling Green to win the MAC?
Yeah.
You have UNLV to win the Mountain West?
Yep.
Okay. You have
Liberty.
Who's won the Sun Belt?
Texas State.
And
Texas
Liberty.
State. And then you have Liberty to win. So, all right, let's see. If I want to put, all right.
Are you doing a parlay?
I'm going to put $100 on the Blutman parlay. If you did the Blutman parlay and you bet $100 and it hits.
On Thursday, August 22nd.
You would win $210,937.50. I'm going to do it just for that reason.
I'm going to absolutely do it too.
So again, I'll cut it in half. Let's say you don't want to put. Let's say you don't want to put 100 on that.
Say you want to put $5. Put $5 down. What does that do?
$5. You bet $5. You win $10,546.87.
And like we mentioned in the DraftKings ad, $5 gets you $200 in bonus bets. So think about what the Blutman parlay
will be great, but you're not going to need it because he's going to win you $10,000.
Exactly. You'll have $200 to put on Blutman's parlay for the college football playoff when he makes one.
All right. Can I make an executive decision here?
Yeah. We're not going to do the last part. We're going to do it next week.
Oh, I was going to say we roll his group. He's got more group of 5. Can we roll his group of 5 to the next show and then just get into your questions now?
Oh.
Can we do that?
Or why don't we do his group of 5 stuff, and then this is like the Liam group of 5 thing, and then
Because I want your questions.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
I
down
don't
with
have
whatever.
anything else anyway.
I thought you had the coaches.
I have the coaches, yeah, and then there was one funny fact I found, but
Oh well, I'm gonna hold on,
We're gonna
Kayce.
need the funny fact.
I'm gonna need the funny fact.
okay.
We're gonna need the funny fact.
So while researching teams, what if I told you I found a college football player whose current favorite book is Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Go on.
That was it. That was a funny fact I found.
Do you know who it is?
Yes, that you remember Amir Smith Marset from Iowa? It's his brother Ashim who plays the owl position at Temple.
These teams naming their roving safety or linebacker the owl or the dog or the bucknut or the whatever. Like, come on.
I mean, Brandon, where were we? You should just be a monster back.
Yeah,
Just be a monster back.
That's our. You know what position that guy plays? He's our badass. That's our badass right there.
Basically Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
Like
I'm way more concerned about this book.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Is it like
Kyle's book?
Buda Baker, all-time monster back guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jabril Peppers was one.
Yeah, he got kind of a monster back to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a safety backer edge hybrid.
You know who I think the all-time one is and he had a pretty good NFL career, but Thomas Davis from Georgia, if you remember him, like he was a big time. He'd be a linebacker if you needed him to be. He'll be a safety if you needed him to be. He could do everything and kill everybody.
He was a beast. He kind of became a traditional backer.
Yeah, he did. He grew into a traditional linebacker. You're right. With the Panthers, correct?
Yeah.
Kayce, give me your 5 questions.
Okay, so it's kind of like a little 2-minute drill, but it kind of puts a nice little bow on the off season and looking forward to the season, which is finally here. So it's they're just some like little funsy questions. They're get us excited. So
they're funsy.
They're funsy.
Very demure.
Yeah.
You like that?
I think it's
Don't do that shit.
But I'm so over that. But I think it's demure. I think it's demure.
Demure.
No, they're cutesy. They're funsy. No, it's just kind of, like a little fun 2-minute drill because next week it's balls to the wall next week, week 1. But this is like a cute little one. Ev, I'll start with you. We obviously know that we're all looking forward to our respective football seasons from our teams. Maybe not Brandon, but
No. I'm tired of y'all bullying me because I'm in the first year of a head coach because my coach died. Okay, I'm tired of y'all bullying me.
Head coach.
I'm just as excited as you are. I'm just as excited as he is. We're new era. We got Jeff Levy. We got Blake Shapen. I'm tired of y'all bullying me.
I'm not excited for UCLA. When you guys were talking about Raiola and I completely agree with everything you guys said. Be a 5-star, go somewhere. I was depressed. We had that guy. It didn't work.
Yeah,
he left.
Fair.
He left.
So
he left to go sit on the bench.
Yeah.
He was so out of there. Okay, so let me rephrase. Blutman, you're the only one that's not as excited about your team. But Ev, I want to know, outside of the Ohio State season, what are you most looking forward to this season? Because we've done a whole lot of talking, and now it's finally here. Like when Big Ev sits down on the couch, what are you most looking forward to?
I feel like this is easy.
I mean
gambling. That'd be my God's honest answer. That'd be the answer. I would say something about the actual college football. I would say something that I've fallen in love with is the idea of the transfer portal and how the quarterback situation specifically is going to play out. So that we get so excited about it, and it's become free agency. This quarterback's here, this quarterback's there. Sitting down and we all sell ourselves and this guy's he's gonna do well here. He needed to change the scenery. What guys are actually gonna play well? Like a Riley Leonard, is he gonna go to Notre Dame and be great? And this even goes past, I'll say, transfer portal. Even guys that are stepping in for new guys, for example, like a Nussmeier at LSU. Like, is he gonna? A lot of hype behind him right now. Is he gonna step up and follow in Jaden Daniels' footsteps? The quarterback scene and just the new faces at quarterback. I get very excited to see what guys are gonna hit, what guys are gonna fail. I love looking forward to that at the beginning of a season. We sell ourselves on it. We don't really know what guys are going to do well.
Brandon, I assume that when you said it's easy, you're talking about the playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have a November where everybody's in play. We're going to have a November where Saturday is filled with important games and no longer I just have to worry about what Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Alabama are doing. We're going to have wide open chaos. We have so many possibilities. We don't know all the possibilities. We don't know what we don't know. Like there's so many things. We have now a Cinderella team like Missouri who comes out of nowhere and goes 10-2 last year. They were never a real threat for the playoff, but they would be this year. So you're going to have Cinderellas in the mix and monsters in the mix. I think the playoff opens up a world of possibilities for the entire sport. The sport can breathe a little bit more down the stretch of the season.
Liam?
Completely agree with what Brand said, but I guess to go with something else would just be kind of sticking to the mold of being, like all these under radar players just making names for themselves and like becoming elite talents that more people talk about and know about. I like that stuff, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Finding more guys who could like, they were in JUCO last year, and this year they're becoming a legit NFL prospect. That's the kind of stuff I like. So in addition to the playoff, that.
All right.
So what I was going to say, I have a confession that I'm finally ready to make. I feel like we've talked a lot about conference realignment and how hard that it is going to be to like really keep up with the Power Four outside the Power Five and like who's playing what week. I am so excited to actually see this play out now. Like it's hard to stomach that we don't have the Pac-12 anymore. It's dead and buried. My confession is, and what I'm most excited about, I really want to see, like I'm super high on Oregon. Everybody knows that. Is Oregon in the Big Ten going to feel natural? Is Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC going to feel natural? We know Cal and Stanford in the ACC is not going to feel natural, but like to really just finally put all the bitching and moaning about conference realignment or the excitement about conference realignment to the test. Like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to watch the Big Ten and the SEC play in Ann Arbor in week 2 with Texas and Michigan. Like I'm ready to like fully jump in and get excited about that. And then obviously the playoff. Okay. So along that, Brandon, you said all the possibilities in the world. When we talk about chaos in college football, we of this generation of our ages, we usually talk about like 2009, right? Like that's usually the year that we're like, okay, that was the chaos. So if you were a betting man right now and you look at the 2024 college football season from let's say 0 to 10, the most chalk picks to 2009 chaos, where do you think this season is actually going to end up at the end of the year?
I guess chaotic chalk is a pussy ass answer, but like I think Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, probably those three are going to be there in the end. I'm sure of that. And then after that, the jockeying and the jostling and the elbowing. Like I said I've said in the SEC, it's kind of true in the Big Ten too. Way too many expectations for way too many teams, and somebody's getting disappointed. You're going to see quicker hot seats than you've ever seen. You're going to see quicker firings maybe than you've ever seen. Like there's not enough oxygen in the room to keep everybody alive, and you're going to see quicker deaths and longer lives for some of the elite teams. So that's what I think.
Ev?
Yeah, I almost hate that. I was going to kind of say the same. Where I think you're going to get both sides of the argument for the expanding the playoff and keeping it the same. Where I think you're going to get a chalk team that wins the championship, like a Georgia, like an Ohio State. But
Yeah.
but I think you're going to see the other side of the fun that comes with the teams 12 through, we'll call it like 10 through 16, 10 through 18, fighting for those spots and those games that we maybe in the past in November didn't see as like much on the line, where it's like maybe like a say like an 8-3 team or a 9-2 team playing another 9-2 team, where that game means everything, where you're truly seeing kind of a playoff eliminator unfold in real time, and we're gonna be able to see that beforehand, and it just makes so many more games the end of the regular season exciting that we didn't have before, and that's going back to even answer kind of both questions you've had. Like that's another thing I'm very excited for.
Liam, do you think that there's any world where like all this hype of the expansion and all that, like we're overhyping it? Because I don't think there's a world, but is there a world in your head? Because your world is different in your head.
No, I think the hype is adequate. Like, maybe that was the wrong word to use, but I think it's fair. Yeah, and I obviously really looking forward to this. I'll put like an 8.2 out of 10 on the chaos scale for the what we can see for playoff area. Also, I think one of the more fascinating things that I don't think has been talked about enough is that race for the group of 5 spot is going to be it's going to be an all-out war, and I can't wait to see how that goes down and how that gets handled, and what there's going to be a lot of angry people.
I agree.
And that's also like everybody always argued about like that 4 spot and like, oh, like, there's Power 5 and there's only 4 spots. Like expanding it doesn't take away the arguments. Now people are just going to be arguing like the 9, 10, 11, 12 spot. Like it's just going to it just kicks it down the road. So those teams are going to be there. So I agree with that. Okay. Liam, I'll start with you. Going into the 2024 season, looking at the offseason and taking everything into effect and into reality, which fan base of all the fan bases out there do you think should be the most excited for kickoff to actually happen?
I mean, that would be a bad answer to say, but it was the first one that came to mind. I got to think of someone else. The first one that came to mind was Kennesaw State because they're D1, because they're FBS now. That answer stinks, but they do have the turnover plank, and the turnover plank rocks.
Brandon, your face.
I mean, like, that was truly the first thing that came to mind.
That's what these questions are for. It's the first thing that comes to your mind. That's why we're doing it, because it's like, we're ready for real football. So I'm taking that. Ev, who's your answer?
I think the answer has got to be a team like Penn State. A team that actually can make that they can lose to Ohio State, they can lose to Oregon or Michigan, and still make the playoff. So I'm going to see teams of Penn State's elk. I'll use them as my example, like a Penn State. Missouri, like Brandon said earlier, teams.
I'll go a little higher. I don't think there's a team more eager in the world to get on the field and erase what's happened to them the last 3 years, whether it was legal or not legal, and get to the last game of the season and set right some things more than the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think they are the most chomping at the bit team in the country right now.
Thank you, Brandon.
I wasn't saying it for you, but
yeah.
I didn't say it because I always have to say it. I'm going to say it all year.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it.
I like that. My first thought was Florida State. And even though I'm not high on Florida State, I think Florida State fans are probably just like whether I think they're going to do it or not, like they want to prove that were screwed last year and that they're still going to be there no matter the turnover. But I feel like, Brandon, what's your quote? The highest currency in college football is hope.
The most valuable currency in college football is hope. The most abundant is hate.
Yes. And I mean, we're in that prime spot right now. Every team in the country, or for most teams in the country, except for Lamb and UCLA, have hope. Okay. Which fan base, Brandon Walker, do you think you will hate the most by the end of this season?
It's like asking me which one my favorite kid is. Like, how can I possibly answer that?
That's why I said the one, because you've had the whole offseason to ruminate, fighting with people.
Just judging by the way the wind's been blowing this year,
mm-hmm.
I feel like Notre Dame is especially bitchy this year. I feel like their fans are especially like, you'll say they're a little overrated at 7, they should be 12, and they'll come back and say we have a top 5 defense, we have the best defensive backs, we have a great young coach. Like, none of that's fucking true. None of that's fucking true. So I think Notre Dame is entering a special, like the Oklahoma Tennessee level of bitchiness, which I haven't seen them there before. But again, Oklahoma, longtime nemesis of mine. Now they're coming to the SEC. They go 6-6. I'm going to be in that ass all year. So the possibilities, you need to ask Big Ev and Blutman, because I get in everybody's ass. It could be anybody for me.
I know. That's one of my favorite things about you is that any given Saturday, you might be beefing with somebody. But I was wondering, because every offseason, things pop up here and there. And it's like, I didn't know if this offseason had started to cultivate a different hate. Notre Dame is a great answer, because I don't think you've beefed a lot with Notre Dame. I mean, everybody's beefed with you at some point.
Well, they're very stupid. Notre Dame's very stupid. I've been the most pro Notre Dame guy in the world. I called the playoff a couple years ago. Y'all laughed at me. Like, I did that. I said they were going to beat Clemson in that big game, and y'all laughed at me. And they did. And then, but see, that's what college football is about. College football fans are so stupid that when you ride for them, they give you 1% of credit. When you say they're going to go 9-3, short of their expectations, they give you 99% of shit. Like, that's how it works. But anyway.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, I was very loud on this podcast about Florida State getting completely fucked out of the playoffs last year. I left them out of the playoff this year, and they've forgotten. They have forgotten. But that's what college football does. Ev, what fan base do you think you'll hate the most? And I understand you in Michigan will always have you in Michigan, but is there another one?
I won't say that. Honestly, I was going to say Notre Dame, because Brandon made some great points. They are incredibly stupid. I don't think they get enough credit for how stupid they are as a fan base. I'll go even deeper than that, though, because they are the team that they're going to, like I predict them to make the playoff, because I don't think their schedule is very difficult. They're going to be the team that they are going to try to convince you how good they are, And we're the eye test, the ball watchers like us are going to watch them and be like, this team's not that good. They're good, but not that good. They're like a 10 to 20 kind of team. But they're going to go to the playoff, and they're going to get mollywopped by one of these teams, and I can't wait for it to happen. They're just an annoying fan base. I'm sick of them already. I'm going to be even more sick of them by the end of the year. Notre Dame is the answer. They suck. That fan base stinks.
Agreed.
They're
Liam?
so stupid. They are so stupid.
And they are extra stupid right now because they feel disrespected by whether it's us or anybody else. Like leaving them out of any playoff, it's like, how dare you? Liam?
I don't know if I'm going to be too angry with like fan bases. I usually don't get like that. I know there'll be fan bases angry with me.
Okay, fair. Who do you think's going to be the angriest with you then?
I think Iowa fans are going to be angry with me, but at the end of the day, they're very angry people. And Brands was at the end of the day. I just don't see how you could. We do this every year, where I'm seeing Iowa's ranked this high, that high, etc. Your offense averages 6.3 points per game. That doesn't move me. That doesn't move the needle. I'll continue to talk down on Iowa because of the ineffectiveness of the offense. I'll talk up the defense in Nwamka or whatever. But Iowa fans, they don't like me, so that'll probably continue.
And at the end of the day, Brandon, there's only one fan base in the country that's thrown a full closed beer can at a pregnant woman's head. And who is it?
Iowa.
Okay. I think it's I think that was a lovely end. We talking about the hate. There's nothing like a good hate to end a podcast. I have a couple more questions, but you know what? They can kick it down on the road next week. Hate. That's the word we're leaving before we go to week. Happy that college football is back week 0. Leaving it on the hate.
That's unnecessary roughness.